Now, this man needs no introduction at all. He's flamboyant and is known to live life king size, and he makes no qualms about it. Well, the king of good times witnessed some bad times recently and has been under public and media scrutiny due to his once upon a time soaring aviation business crash landing. That's correct. I'm talking about none other than Vijay Mallya, and he joins us right here on Brand Equity to give us his point of view on why, despite all the odds in 2012, he is still the second most admired business personality among the youth of today. Thank you so much, Mr. Mallya, for taking time and joining us here on Brand Equity. So, Mr. Mallya, my first question to you is that you have been voted the second most admired business personality on a survey conducted by Brand Equity on the urban youth. Now, given the fact that you've had a rather turbulent 2012, why do you think the urban youth looks up to you and tags you as one of the most admired business personalities of 2012? In fact, second only to Ratan Tata.
Well, you know, I'm honored and humbled by this response. Given the way I've been slammed by the media right through 2012, this was also indeed very surprising. But having said that, I think that this is a build-up of my public profile over the last many years. As you know, in my core businesses, we operate in a dark media environment, and I act as brand ambassador for several of our big blockbuster brands which effectively have lifestyle platforms. So perhaps in that role as being the brand ambassador of my brands, I have caught the imagination of the urban youth. I mean, that's all I can put my finger on, actually.
Right, but when we compare the perception that the urban youth has of you and juxtapose it with, let's say, older demographics in the country, would you say that older demographics, that's, you know, the more middle-aged population of the country, might be judging you too harshly?
Well, one of India's biggest advantages is our young demographic, and that we have a youthful population. That is indeed our future. But to answer your question more specifically, this started when I was 27 years old, when my father suddenly died and I had to take over the reins of the UB Group at a very young age. Captains of industry in those days, or heads of large industrial groups, were much older than me. I lived like a normal 27-year-old with all the passions that a youngster is expected to have. And I came under very severe criticism from these relatively older people of being perhaps too flamboyant and too flippant. But I think that my track record speaks for itself. Over the last 3 decades almost, I built the world's largest spirits company here in India, United Spirits. I took United Breweries from a market share in the beer industry of 18% to past 50%. Firmly established the Kingfisher brand, created enormous stakeholder wealth and value in the process. That unfortunately seems to be occupying second place, with the prominence being Kingfisher Airlines. And it's rather unfortunate that I am being held singularly responsible for Kingfisher Airlines' difficulties, for its financial problems. It defies the very logic of a limited company. And in any business house, there are successes and there are also stressed companies. I haven't given up, and I don't intend to give up that easily. But yes, I mean, the older generation seem to be far more judgmental. I wish they looked at the total picture rather than just the Kingfisher Airlines picture. But having said that, I'm not surprised that Ratan Tata was voted as the #1 most admired person in business. So I would actually aspire to be a Ratan Tata myself. But be that as it may, so long as there is some appreciation from some section of society, as young as that class of Indians may be, I'm happy and privileged.
You know, Mr. Mallya, you've been compared to Richard Branson numerous times in terms of your lifestyle and your business style. Do you think that your larger-than-life personality and your flamboyance put together, firstly, is lacking in most business leaders today? And that is probably the reason why the survey has thrown up, your name right on top just after Ratan Tata, because you are possibly the only leader today that can balance both being a serious businessman and a serial lover of life.
You know, there's nothing wrong in loving life and living life. I spend my own money, not other people's money. I live life what I consider to be normal. In India, there is this huge jealousy factor, unfortunately, and that interferes in people's judgments big time. And so if I were to do something that I considered perfectly normal, some hypocrite out there is probably going to say that I'm too flashy or too flamboyant. I'm not out there trying to make a concerted effort to make my presence felt. As I said, I am brand ambassador to many of our blockbuster brands. The brands are built on lifestyle platforms. Now, in the course of being a brand ambassador, if I'm branded as flamboyant, well, so be it, so long as the brands benefit, which clearly they have. Otherwise, they would not be enjoying market leadership positions. Richard Branson obviously believes in his brand, Virgin. I mean, he does all sorts of exciting stuff. I wouldn't venture to go where Richard Branson goes, frankly, in his role as brand ambassador of Virgin. But I do what I have to do, and in this environment, sometimes it's understood, and sometimes, sadly, it's misunderstood.
Mr. Mallya, one of the common threads that held all the admired personalities together, be it sport, film, politics or business, were controversies. Also, what was noted was that most of these personalities, including yourself, are individuals who are not conformists. Do you think that controversial plus non-conformity are two very important qualities that have struck a chord with the youth?
No, I don't think so. In my case, certainly it was no controversy. It's far from a controversy. I was sort of hung and pronounced guilty before I even had a chance to clarify or to justify the position that Kingfisher Airlines finds itself in. I was branded a failure. I was branded as the person solely responsible for Kingfisher Airlines' debts, for its unpaid employees, sadly, and for everything that went wrong. So it wasn't a controversy. A controversy is something that has two sides. I've been at the receiving end of something that's completely one-sided. So I don't believe that would have contributed in the survey results.
Mr. Mallya, do you think that your association with everything fast and racy and exciting, despite the fact that you are not the youth, but can still lead that kind of lifestyle, is something that is really appealing to the youth? Because while they might live their lives like that today, society at large, as you grow up, becomes a lot more sober in lifestyle, and that's possibly something they want to retain when they grow older, and hence you become a role model of sorts for them, because apart from being a serious businessman, you take on everything that is exciting and youthful.
I don't believe in hypocrisy. I am straightforward, transparent, and you get what you see. I don't believe in image management or, as I said, being a hypocrite. I live life the way I like to live life. And I think that's everybody's right. Now, whether they choose to exercise that right or present a different picture is up to each individual.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mallya, for taking time and joining us right here on Brand Equity. We truly appreciate it, and all the very best.
I have my agenda cut out. I have my challenges ahead of me. I have my plans and my strategy, and I'm just going to continue giving it my best shot.